Leader 9.
Straight ahead on News Leader 9 at 5:30, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation is not only fighting crime throughout the state, but also backlogs on cases. Tonight, a full report on how they are working to keep the numbers low. Plus, officials in Atlanta were locked and loaded at an upscale shopping center. We'll tell you what had dozens of agencies in full tactical gear at Lenox Square Mall. And executions have been halted in the state of Alabama, but there is one alternative Governor Robert Bentley says he will not allow. We'll explain. Good evening and welcome to coverage you can count on at 5:30. I'm sure Renee, thanks so much for joining us. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation reports by June 2013, it decreased the crime lab backlogs by more than half. News Leader 9's Brittany Dion met with officials at their headquarters in Decatur who say they are completing reports in record time.
By June of 2013, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation's crime lab reduced its backlog of forensic cases by more than 55%, according to a press release. Now, officials claim it was through increased staff and policy changes they have been able to cut those cases in half.
We do the autopsies for 151 of the 159 counties.
Director Vernon Keenan of the GBI says over 3,000 autopsies are performed every year at headquarters in Atlanta. Keenan claims the vast majority of autopsies performed by the department are completed within 90 days.
Medical examiners or the crime laboratory will be blamed by a local agency or coroner or prosecutor or whatever about delays in a case, saying that there's a backlog in the crime laboratory or that it takes 6 months to get an autopsy report. We hear that frequently from coroners. That is, statistically, that is not the case.
Keenan does admit more complicated cases can take longer. Cases out of Muskogee County are handled by the GBI. Muskogee County Coroner Buddy Bryan says although the department boasts decreased backlogged numbers, locally families are waiting in excess of 6 months for final toxicology reports.
Occasionally, when there is a complicated death case, it will take several months to get all the work done. It's not the autopsy itself. We're waiting on toxicology, histology, other reports to come back in.
Now, Muskogee County Coroner Buddy Bryan says there are a couple dozen cases still pending in Muskogee County upon the findings of autopsy reports. Now, coming up on the news at 6, I'll tell you what Bryan says he's doing to help decrease the time local families are waiting to get answers. Back to you, Cheryl.
All right, thanks so much, Brittany. Guns drawn at Atlanta's Lenox Square Mall on Sunday night, but it was all just a drill. It was to prepare law enforcement for acts of terrorism. The simulated attack lasted more than 4 hours, bringing in officials from the FBI and dozens of other agencies. The drill resembled the terrorist act like the one that happened in a Kenyan mall, which killed 67 people, including 4 attackers.
We have mall security, so we have others that we have to exercise and ensure that their plans are consistent with how we would come in and operate our plans.
The drill included rescue workers, firefighters, and EMS to train them on how to help victims injured in an attack. Today, law enforcement are reviewing the drill to see areas that need improvement. Auburn police are searching for a missing man. 25-year-old Tyshawn McCray has been missing since late Thursday night. According to police, he was last seen on Williams Avenue. Authorities say he may be in a maroon 2004 Pontiac Grand Prix with an Alabama license plate. If you have seen or know anything about where Tyshawn McCray may be, call Auburn Police at 334-501-3140.
Well, a warm and some folks might call it just a downright hot day in progress out there across the valley. It's 88 degrees in Montgomery, Columbus, and Albany, both with 88 as well. But we're looking at low 90s across parts of South Carolina and East Georgia, 92 in Augusta and 93 in Savannah at this hour. And really hard to find a cloud in the sky around here. Most of the showers and storms well to our north. Here's that trend for you for the rest of the evening hours. We're going to stay very, very mild tonight with a clear sky. And by tomorrow morning, those overnight lows will be in the upper 50s in most spots across the Chattahoochee Valley. I want to remind you about your next chance to win a weather radio as well. Now, of course, on Wednesday, we're going to be out at Auburn programming weather radios, but you can win one by listening for the keyword tomorrow. And when you hear it, text it to 40909. You'll be entered in to win a NOAA weather radio. We'll have that full forecast coming your way for you, too, a little bit later on in the newscast. Cheryl?
All right, thanks, Derek. It's the 5th of May, or Cinco de Mayo, the day Americans celebrate what they think is the Mexican Independence Day. But News Leader 9's Tyrone McCoy went out today to set the record straight. He's live now from Viva El Toro on Macon Road in Columbus with what he found. Hi, Tyrone.
Hey, Cheryl, and as you can see, the celebration's already in high gear here. I've already got on my sombrero, and folks have already started piling into Viva El Toro. But, you know, it's not all about the party. I want you to just take a look at some of the things that's happening right around here. You got some people eating, you've got some kids with balloons, and people have already started having drinks. Now, I'm going to take a walk right over here to talk about really what the importance is of Cinco de Mayo. Now, you think about often having these drinks, but really, guys, it's about so much more than that. It's about the day that Mexico got not necessarily their independence. So that's a common misconception. It's not Mexican Independence Day. It's actually just the day that they won a battle and their democracy and independence from France. So it's not Mexican Independence Day, contrary to popular belief. It is a celebration here, but they don't even celebrate the same way that we do. I talked to one of the owners here a little bit early who says that, you know, what they do celebrate is remembering that they have made sure that they got some independence from France. So guys, the party is in high gear here. If you want to know a little bit more, just come on out here to Viva El Toro or any celebration that's around this area. For now, live at Viva El Toro in Columbus, Tyrone McCoy, WTVM News Leader 9. Back to you, Cheryl.
All right, thanks, Tyrone. You look good in that sombrero, by the way. Take care. Well, Alabama Governor Robert Bentley is saying no to switching back to the electric chair for executions in the state. Today, the governor personally opposed the idea of resuming electrocutions. This comes as the Department of Justice is investigating the drugs used in lethal drug executions. Alabama State Senator Cam Ward agrees, saying giving up the state's current method of lethal injection involves too many legal hurdles.
I would personally believe that there is a more humane system of using the death penalty than going back to a system of the electric chair.
The state attorney general's office says executions are at a standstill because the prison system has run out of one of the 3 drugs used in its lethal injection system. Some 200 people are currently on death row in the state, and Alabama's last lethal injection was in 2011. A music artist is suing to stop the production of a movie after a fatal train crash in Savannah. Greg Allman of the Allman Brothers Band is trying to put a halt to the film, which is based on his life story. Back in February, camera assistant Sarah Jones was killed and 6 others were injured when a train plowed into a trestle. The lawsuit was filed last week, saying producers still intend to revive the project despite the singer's objections. Where you live can help determine how long you'll live. A report by the Center for Disease Control analyzed premature deaths in the U.S. and Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi are leading the way. The data was analyzed from 2008 to 2010. There are 5 leading causes for premature death: heart disease, cancer, lower respiratory illnesses, stroke, and unintentional injuries. The report finds that 40% of the causes were preventable. Officials in Auburn have raised more than $10,000 for the Special Olympics, and the donations are still coming in. The Auburn Police Division were perched on top of the Kroger on Dean Road in support of this year's Alabama Special Olympics. They stayed there for 38 continuous hours while bringing in funds for the organization. Last year, law enforcement officers in the state of Alabama raised more than $85,000 during this event. Coming up on News Leader 9 at 5:30, Powerade is dropping a controversial ingredient from its drinks. Find out what it is and why. And light up while pregnant. A new study looks at what risk mothers-to-be who smoke are taking with their unborn child's heart.